This is my Ace Media Studies Creative Critical Reflection. Wake Up is a POV thriller film inspired by movies such as The Blair Witch Project, made for cell phone publication, because it seems social media is one of the most common outlets of media. The main character is Isa Martinez, a teenage girl at the beach with friends. The central conflict would be being able to distinguish reality with memories, as well as finding out the story of what happened to the missing teen. The questions or enigmas that the opening creates are the questions: is this real? Is she alive? Where did she go? And what happened to her in the woods? And how long has it been? The withheld information is important about what happened on her walk. The withheld information is information about what happened on her walk and her current status. The clues provided are flashes of the hospital bed and the hospital monitor beeps, so the audience knows something isn't right, as well as the newspaper articles and the dreamy type of footage. How does your product use or challenge conventions? First, with my camera shots. The master shot was implemented to establish the setting of the scene and give hints on what's next to come. The master shot showed an aerial view of the beach, which gave the hint of the beach setting. This camera shot, a medium shot, from the waist up, the character is shown with the focus on her while still acknowledging the rest of the setting. Next is a long shot, which shows the entire subject from head to toe and places that subject in relation to their surroundings. I applied this to show the relationship between the characters and her environment. My product explored conventions such as mysterious music and flashbacks, which follows normal convention of a thriller, while it challenges conventions because the characters address the camera as if it is meant to seem like a POV from raw real footage, which is not normally associated with the thriller genre. Composition. For my composition, I mainly use rule of thirds, which is the process of dividing an image into thirds using 2 horizontal and 2 vertical lines. This imagery grid yields 9 segments with 4 intersection points. When you position the most important elements of your image at these intersections, you produce a much more natural image. It is also suggested that any horizon is placed on either the top horizontal line or bottom horizontal line. Off-center composition is pleasing to the eye because it is typically where the eyes go first. When there is a subject or object off-center, it also gives viewers the ability to interact with the space between them. This allows for interpretation and conversation between the subject and the background, as opposed to a fully centered subject. Mise en scene. Mise en scene, to begin, I want to talk about location and setting. The beach setting is serene, but it still has a fun energy, while the woods in the back look a little darker and more mysterious. We can infer based solely on the location and setting that the character is having a good normal day with her friends and she's in a good mood. The location is not indicative of the genre, which challenges conventions. You can read from the mise en scenes the tone of the story as well as a memory, like a feeling that is building suspense because you don't know what might happen next. Next, the props. The props reveal characters' position, role, and portray a stereotype to help the audience understand what they're doing. The dogs add a friendly family atmosphere and represent happy relationships, as well as the football, friends, music, and lighting. Costume. The characters' costumes are casual clothes, beachwear, and bathing suits because the film is supposed to look real, like some filming took place at a casual beach day. This sets the tone that everything is normal and going good before the contrast of the hospital. Hair and makeup. I applied no makeup or hair products because I wanted the footage to look as raw and unedited as possible. Lighting. The lighting is natural, but there's a dramatic blue tone that gives the film a somber and uneasy feeling instead of that happy beach day feeling. The color palette tells us that this is a memory because of the soft light and vintage tone, as well as indicates happy emotions without being too bright. Next, the sound. Diegetic sound of the waves, wind, and bird is integrated as well as non-diegetic to enhance it. Non-diegetic sounds, such as music for before and after her disappearance, are used along with the Foley sound effects of the hospital heart monitor. The editing. The editing I applied was a cut. A simple change from one shot to another shot to keep the pace going and show something else, and to cut to something out of a shot. I used this when cutting between the beach scenery and to show us what a character is seeing and making it clear what the character is looking at. Next is an eyeline match shot. Eyeline match puts us in characters' shoes, engages audiences. This is explored when I show the character running and going on the walk. The eyeline match shows exactly what she is seeing on her walk. Titles and credits. The titles and credits I used were a Jupiter High production by Facebook. And the title, Wake Up, the lead cast, Isa Martinez, supporting cast, casting director, producer and editor, director and writer, to name a few. How does my film engage with audiences, and how should it be distributed as a real media text? How I construct the social world, including the portrayal of ideas, individuals, and groups. I use stereotypical young teenagers at the beach because that is the age range that in the modern world stereotypically goes missing. The audience and their demographics. The consumer is categorized in terms of concrete variables such as age, class, and gender. Mine ranging from 15 to 40, both genders, and living near a coastal town, so the audience can find something to relate to the film. Psychographics. The consumer is designed in terms of their interests, attitudes, and opinions, such as those who are living an everyday teenage life. Enigma code. I deliberately hold information about why medical pictures are flashing, so they are curious to what happened to the girl and to develop the plot. Action code. The main character is enjoying a day, which leads her to go for a walk, which leads her to the newspaper articles, which leads her to the hospital bed. Semantic code. The football gives insight that she is sporty, and the friends gives insight that she is popular and normal and likable. The dog represents positive relationships. Symbolic code. The heart monitor beeps represents something bad happening. I had to tweak the sound to go along with the music. My distribution company was Facebook because I filmed my film lengthwise for social media production because I've seen a lot of social media films and I wanted to do something new. So my distribution company is Facebook. How did my production skills develop through this project? Technical production skills. I have learned a lot about the screenwriting process and how to organize a script properly and structure it. I also learned about the entire production process and how it is structured. I learned about what storyboarding is and the semantics to do it, and what goes into a good storyboard. I learned how to edit with Adobe Premiere and utilize the tools such as making cuts and doing transitions. I learned how to develop a production plan, develop a purpose, and identify the audience so I can cater to my audience and demographics. I learned not only what the different camera shots such as close-up and cowboy shot were, as well as camera movements such as pan or tilt to show uneasiness are, but the importance and meaning of all of them, and when and how they should be done, so that my film looks the cleanest possible. I learned production skills such as mise-en-scene and where it is implied, how to apply it in your film. I learned about the different forms of media and got to see examples of each, as well as learned about the different genres and the semantics of them all, and developed my own. I also learned about the different angles, such as the Dutch angle or bird's eye, and their purpose in film. I learned how to time manage because I had a set due dates that I had to keep in mind. I learned to keep all of my clips organized and collaborate with my peers or instructors if I have questions to make the film look the best it can. I also learned how helpful feedback is as you receive ways to improve your film and get to hear others' opinions. Now, how did I integrate technologies? Hardware. Due to the convergence of cameras with iPhones, I was able to shoot my entire film on my phone. For software, I use Google Docs for my shot list. Online, I use direct messaging on social media for feedback and many online tutorials to learn Adobe Premiere editing. Technologies used in research and planning. I used my phone to improve and practice various camera shots and angles and how to frame images using the grid feature of the camera. Google Docs and Slides was very valuable in writing my screenplay and storyboarding. I integrated several online tools, including the masterclass tutorial on screenwriting by Aaron Sorkin and YouTube. In post-production, the technologies I integrated were my school's Dell computer, Adobe Premiere Pro software, and EDU Blogs, an online blogging platform to track my progress and discuss and evaluate my learning. That concludes my creative critical reflection. Thanks for watching.